Alrighty, this particular truck, I own this truck. It's a 6-liter 2004. It's a late 2003, early 2004. And the ICP is behind the turbo. Unlike the new trucks, or the newer 6.0s, where the ICP is on that valve cover. So this one is a real pain in the neck. So I've already been underneath there and removed the heat shield so I can unplug it. And what I'm going to attempt to do, because I get in high volts on ICP, is run a redundant overlay circuit for the ICP, which means that I'll basically be running a bypass wire for the feed to the ECM, the feedback to the ECM, which is there. And I've already found that circuit where it feeds back to the ECM. And that's the ICP connector. So I don't have to remove my battery. Normally you would, because see that red cable. I relocated my batteries to this box on the bed, and then I put a battery switch in it with a lock. Wonderful 6.0. So the way I located that circuit was on the ohm scale, and of course I turn on the diode indicator. That way I know that is in fact that circuit. So my reason for doing this bypass is because I keep getting the high volts fault, and it makes it nearly impossible to start at times when it has that fault. Other reason is because when I bought this truck, that filter was leaking and it saturated this harness. Now I have replaced this ICP, and I've also replaced this ICP connector, and I've replaced it clear back into the harness all the way back to here, which is about 6 or 8 inches, whatever it is. And the wire was still pretty ugly even at that point. So in lieu of spending $400 and putting an aftermarket harness in this just for that one fault, although it's an important fault because the truck won't start if it doesn't get the right ICP signal back to the ECM, and then of course showing at least 500 psi, it will not start. So anyway, that's what I'm going to do. And for the sensor volt volt supply and sensor ground supply, I'm going to tap right into the EGR actuator connector, which has both of those on it. So stay tuned. Next video I'll show it all bypassed and hopefully working the way it should. I did think about running a redundant feedback, but I think what I'm going to do is isolate the feedback and make it so it's just feeding back through my overlay harness that I just made. So that way, if there's a short on that feedback that I'm not aware of inside that harness, it's not going to short back and screw up my feedback signal. So that'll be an isolated feedback directly from the ICP through my harness And then I'll take out that feedback, the original feedback circuit, but I'll tie into the power and ground. And I'll just leave those connected into the original circuit. And then I'll just let that connector hang down in the back somewhere where it's not going to get burnt, because the turbo runs back, exhaust is all running back in there, so this heat shields are very important to have on those. Anyway, next video, hopefully we'll show it running all bypass the way it should be, and then in the morning I'll start it when it's cold. Hopefully that'll take care of this problem.